is a film that is being revisited. You've shot a few parts of this film and then you have to shoot again. Was it different playing it the second time?
Yeah, it was different playing it the second time because, of course, it was a different director. I will find a lot of similarities in the character because it's me playing it. I think the first one, he was a little more on edge, and I couldn't really. I mean, I was doing what I was told, but when I watched the movie, I couldn't really understand him, and I wasn't able to. And I wasn't able to understand his actions or justify any of his, his attitude towards life and the people around him. But with this one, I think there's more of an understanding between me and the character. And you know, it's definitely different. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. To all the three of you, the film has been, shot in other languages and has been accepted and criticized. So, have you watched the earlier versions of the film, each of you? And what have you liked and disliked about the earlier versions, if you want?
That's a good question. Priya, take it away. I've only watched the Telugu version. I think what I loved about Arjun Reddy was that it was such a breakthrough for Telugu cinema, especially because they're so formulaic and like so much of formula and masala and commercial in their movies. And here comes someone who's an outsider, and with breakthrough kind of performance, very different from the typical hero. A lot of negative or so-called grey shades to his character, which I think made him very relatable for a lot of people to watch. I think it kind of reminds you of your first relationship, which is like really toxic and you're so inexperienced and you don't really know what you're doing and you're trying to get to know the opposite sex. And I think that's why a lot of people connected with it and it became such a cult hit. But I loved what it did to Telugu cinema. I loved that it encouraged so many newcomers to come in and people took newcomers seriously as well, like in terms of the industry. And I loved the rawness of it. I loved how real. And I don't think they kind of went into the film thinking that it was going to be as big as it was. And I think that made it really sweet to kind of be a part and watch this film. You can kind of, I think as an insider, I can see a lot of flaws. I can see where they kind of messed up or what must have happened while they were shooting for certain scenes. But I think all of that just added to the realism of that movie and helped me connect with that character.
Yeah.
I should have thought of something. I think the character itself, and let me talk about Arjun Reddy first. I think Vijay Deverakonda was given so much space by his director to sort of improv, and they both, it was like there are a lot of scenes that go without a cut. So the character in itself he's allowed to develop while the scene's even happening. So I think that's great, and you see him in the film and you believe that he is Arjun Reddy, and I think that is the most important thing. I don't see any flaws. I see flaws in his character and the fact that he's a flawed man.
Mm-hmm.
But I think since I was so devoted to Arjun Reddy and so devoted to the thought of this remake of doing it again, I learned to love everything about it, so I couldn't find anything wrong with it. Where I feel like this movie, this whole idea germinated as wanting to do a loyal remake of Arjun Reddy. I think it's everyone, Sandeep sir and Vijay Deverakonda, they're such huge inspirations for the person who directed my film and how he is for me, how Vijay is for me. I think if there is a lot of homework, I wouldn't call it homework, but you have to seek inspiration from him, right? And see his approach to the character and what you can do differently. But I definitely look up to him, and I think he's just one of the most fabulous actors in our country.
And have you consciously made a difference to make it look different?
I think back in 2017, before I did the first one, I was watching Arjun Reddy a lot, and then I had a director who was very specific, so I didn't really think about it. But this time around, Arjun Reddy was already like somewhere in my mind. I just knew subconsciously every beat of the film because I'd done it once, and since I'd seen Arjun Reddy so much. But we were just sort of going with our flow. I think when with Adithya Varma, of course, we would have Ravi Kesa and Gireesaaya have Arjun Reddy on their phone just so they know the cuts and just so they know the continuity and all these other things, like the technicalities of it. But no, I've never been told to do the same thing. In fact, I would be like, Dad, that's not what Vijay did in the scene. And he'd be like, this is a different film. You understand?
Right.
Yeah.
And has it been changed or altered a bit for Tamil audiences? Because I'm sure.
I mean, the language is a huge difference, right? And with the language comes a lot of little things that people in Tamil Nadu will relate to. But I don't think the language brought a difference. I think the cast brought a difference to the film. We made with not too much of a conscious effort with just how we approach this. It was it was just we did this project with a lot of love for the concept, you know. So we wanted to do our own take on it, yes, but we also wanted to keep that soul intact of the film. And I think that beyond the Tamil audience and beyond the Malayalam audience or the Telugu audience, I think anyone who likes the concept and who relates to the concept and the emotion of Arjun Reddy, it will be nice to see a whole new cast, you know, do it differently and in their own way.
I think, like Priya and Dhruv said before, the rawness of it kind of really attracted me to it. Again, I think the acting was amazing. Even I remember watching Arjun Reddy and I could not relate to Shalini's character Priti at all. And that kind of drew me to it because I was like, as an actor, that's kind of challenging to play someone who would react so differently to a situation from you. Mm-hmm. And, there were times on set where I wanted to kind of be more animated and stand up for myself, and my director would be like, no, you need to be more subdued, you need to be more like this and that, and there are people who exist like that, and it was really interesting to explore that realm. In terms of flaws, as a woman, I did have problems with Arjun Reddy, and I had more problems with Kabir Singh because I feel like those kind of misogynistic values were heightened in that film. I've been very open about that. At the same time, bear in mind, Adithya Varma is a remake of a remake. They're reshooting it, and when Mukesh, our producer, approached me saying they weren't happy with the remake they had firstly done, I thought, here's a team who perhaps are willing to listen to what I have to say and little nuances that I would like to make a female audience feel more comfortable watching the film, whilst at the same time not deviating too vastly from the original cult and passion and intensity of Arjun Reddy, because that is what makes that film so great. So, I'm sorry I just kind of went off a bit, but yeah.
Okay, so about heartbreak. The film is also about heartbreak in a huge way. And of course, because you've seen the originals, we know that finally they come back together. But the entire thing about heartbreak, how have you dealt with it in your own capacity? And does it become this animated in your own life when you dealt with it? And does it start? Do you derive inspiration of that to perform something like that on screen? All of you.
I've honestly never experienced a relationship as toxic as this one, thank God, and I'd like to thank my mother for that because she's, guided me very well growing up. I think heartbreak is something, it's just a part of life, it's something that everyone goes through. Whenever I go through it, I just think to myself, this is character development, you're going to come out stronger. And you just mature with age, and I didn't deal with heartbreak too well when I was younger. I think I had more of an ego, so that I would just, not keep in contact with my exes, but I feel like now I've matured more so that I value the friendship more than my ego or feeling hurt or whatever, so yeah.
That's a hard one. I don't think it is logical to put yourself in situations that make you better for your art. But I do feel like I have been heartbroken, not a toxic relationship or similar circumstances as Adi and Meera. But I think, I did work very constructively from my past and took a lot of real life instances. I'm not saying I'm method and all of that. I'm just saying I had no choice. I didn't know what else to do but to derive an inspiration from my own life. And I think same with music or acting or even making a film. Like, Sandeep sir, when I met him, he told me that I asked him, did any of this happen to you? And of course, he wanted to be discreet, but he's like, yeah, some of it. That's when he went on to make such a beautiful film and had, an out-the-back character that's so detailed, I think, yes, you have to derive some sort of inspiration from your life. In any art, not just this.
I think it depends on where you are in your life and how you handle things. I don't think you'll always handle it the same exact way. But my biggest motto in life is keep it cute and grace under pressure. So I think no matter what, to kind of be graceful and not lose yourself in the heat of that moment is very important for me, that I live my life that way very consciously. So I think that's very important to me. So none of this toxic relationship stuff works for me.
What about anger management? This is another big issue. All this talks about. Have you been? May not be as angry as the film portrays.
We get angry.
But how do you deal with anger? In terms, there are different kinds of anger.
Yeah. I think there's different levels. It depends on how invested you are in whatever. It could be that you're angry that your people haven't showed up for your interview or for your meeting, or it could be something that is really important to you, and then a lot of disappointment and hurt comes in with that kind of anger. So I think it depends on the situation.
I get angry at myself more than anyone else.
Yeah.
I'm very self-critical. I'm such a perfectionist. If it's 9 out of 10 and not 10 out of 10, I'll berate myself for like days on end, and it's not healthy. But I guess that's my anger management. It's with myself.
I think more than having to associate with his anger in this film to play the character, I think they are just men that want to stand up for what's right in their head, and when things don't go the way they visualize it because they're so passionate about the way they want to live their lives with their loved ones or their profession. This anger is justified to them, and it is obviously bad for his relationships. But somewhere he does feel like he's not doing himself wrong, like he's genuinely just standing up for what's right to him, So the anger was never something that stood out to me from this film, and to be honest, even with Arjun Reddy, the anger never stood out to me. You just see that he's in love with that girl, and he's gonna make it work no matter
And the
what.
anger and the rage is a byproduct of
100%. The anger and the rage is a byproduct of, just situations not going according to the way that's meant to go. I mean, they got together in the end, so what's the point of spending 9 months away from each other?
It's only 9 months.
Only 9 months.
The
Only
whole
9
pregnancy.
That was too much for 9 months.
Okay, so both of you have acted before, and this is your debut. On set, did the girls bully you? What was the scene?
He's lucky he didn't have both of us on set at the same time.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Really? I believe you.
You didn't, but
Excuse me? What?
No, it's,
How?
I'm not
Give me an
gonna answer that
instance
question.
of bullying, because you just mentioned that they did.
Getting scared right now. I don't want to go into that. Well, when you spend a lot of time with people in very close proximity, it does obviously, they're not bullying exactly, literally, I mean, but like, we would literally spend so much time together that we just get so irritated with each other. And just like, literally before our shots, we would just like,
Do you know what was so funny when we
Same.
watched the trailer for the first time? Like there was, there's that bit segment where we're like so in love and there's like a lot of making out or whatever. And Dhruv and I were watching. We were like, wow, like before that like shot, I told you to like go away, and then you told me you hated me before that shot.
literally.
And it's just so
Literally.
weird because you see it and we actually look so in love, and I'm just like, yeah, we were
So
arguing
good
that
actors.
entire
Magic
day.
is cinema.
Yeah.
Okay, there's one question that is the rudest thing you've said to a man or a woman that you can say now in front of the camera.
I think just ignoring someone, that's the best thing.
Yeah,
The
same.
rudest thing you can
Silent
do when
treatment.
you, like I said, keep it cute and be graceful. Like,
If I have nothing nice to say, I would rather just not say anything. Yeah.
being indifferent is like the worst thing you can do to someone.
I'm trying to think of something you said to me.
Stop working at this. Stop working at this.
It's okay. Whatever you can say in front of the camera, that's why I specified it was a
But
clause.
you're not a very rude person. I doubt you would.
I
Yeah.
bet when I was younger, I probably messed around with a lot of people at school. But
In
otherwise,
school.
I don't remember anything in
You were a
particular.
naughty person. in
Right,
school.
still.
Yeah, I was.
Okay, now it's coming up.
Yeah, you see what I mean? Yeah, in school I was little.
So what was the most mischievous thing you did in school?
I mean, in school, I don't know if I should be going on saying this, but I was never someone that was able to focus on my education. My sister was like a class topper,
Okay.
and my like she was like not my mom's favorite, but my mom never had to worry about her studying. Like my sister got 10% in her boards in 10th and 12th. With me, like my mom would have to coax me to study and like force me to study and like wake me up and all of this
You're
stuff.
creative.
And sometimes like
Yeah.
I'd hold the book and I just the comfort of knowing that my mom thinks I'm studying, but I'd actually just like read. I wouldn't even have a phone or anything. I'd just be like reading and stuff.
Daydreaming.
Yeah, daydreaming. Like that was a lot of my school life. So school was more about friends and falling in love and all of that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
Was
do
it
you have
reci-
is
was it
interesting now.
reciprocated?
We can start with that now.
This is only Filmfare. Only most of India and the
Mhm.
foreign
UAE.
audience is
No,
going
no,
to
I'm
have
not
access
saying it
to
in the
this.
sense that I'm not saying it in the sense that it would. No, in the for me, high school and all of that was. I think when you're at that age and then there's.
Some things are more important than studying.
Most things are important.
Oh
compared to
my
education.
god! I hope you cut that part out. I'm saying in the sense that I really wanted to just like got myself in this situation. No, I obviously didn't prioritize being in love with anyone or falling in love with anyone, but I was always like this.
You're the romantic.
This
He is
hopeless
a dreamer.
romantic type in school.
Aww.
He's a dreamer.
Like even if I like the girl in my head, I would have decided that I love her and I'm going to get married to her. Do anything for her. Like she'd barely even speak to me. Like she'd just be like, "Hi, Dhruv." And I'd just be like, "That's the one."
The film has already come under criticism from many quarters for the content that it has. Do you think that because now all the battles have been fought, for you it'll be easier?
They will have its own battles.
Yeah, we love
Yeah.
it. So what I say everywhere, like I don't know if we're going to see the same criticism in the backlash that Kabir Singh faced, but we're definitely going to have something else coming our way, and that's.
Are you prepared for it?
You can never
You can
predict
never
it,
be
you
prepared
know?
for it, and also there are a lot of eyes on this project. One, because it's Vikram sir's son's launch, and also because it is Arjun Reddy and Kabir Singh. They've been so successful, so everyone kind of wants to know what we've done with this version, and also because we've reshot like an entire movie, so there's a lot of curiosity. So good or bad, we're gonna have. I think a lot of people want to watch this.
Have you met Vijay and Shahid?
I have
We discussed.
Have you?
No, I hadn't. But when Sandeep sir came and said, because he knows the co-director, you can ask Banita how I was that day. Like I was just.
Oh my god. He was like a little kid, like a little puppy. He just couldn't. He
Because
was so shy.
it's the man that wrote the character that I am playing, and I've never met him before, and it was just so overwhelming because you.
It's like
I think meeting Vijay Devgn, of course, would have been like a fan moment for me.
Yeah.
But when I met Sandeep sir, it was very like I wasn't even awestruck. I was just like, this all jump made it from this man's head, and now he's done such an amazing film that it's remade it Hindi, and a Tamil team is remaking it right now. And he was just so humble and so sweet in the way he spoke. I really found it.
Okay, so this is a special activation that we've done for Adithya Varma. This is Dhruv speaking to Neelam from my team. Neelam doesn't follow Tamil, and she's trying to guess what Dhruv just mentioned. And this is fun, and I believe I think she got it.
That's quite long.
நான் உனக்காக பிறந்தேன் நீ எனக்காக பிறந்தேன்
I was born.
ஆனா நான் என்ன நினைச்சேன் தெரியுமா நீ மட்டும் இல்ல நீலம் உங்க அப்பா உங்க அம்மா அவங்க பாட்ட
If you
Right?
prove
Yeah,
that's
this
his
is
audition.
expression. I think this means मैं तुम्हारे लिए कुछ भी कर सकता हूँ.
No,
अगर
no,
तुम
no,
maybe.
what did I say at the start?
No.
No?
Okay, but she's
Like,
excited.
remember
that
this is the sequence.
Papa,
They,
तेरे
Papa,
मम्मी,
they all were born.
नानी,
You were all
नाना,
born because
दादा,
I had to
दादी.
meet you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But I remember the dialogue from Kabir Singh which says,
Makes
this
me
was
happy.
from, yeah.
Okay, so tell me what it made you feel like to have Adithya Varma.
Tell you this.
Yeah.
Did it make you feel like?
I was
She's speechless.
She's like,
no.
it was nice.
But I think I guess the sequence like that is.
Listen, this is an interview. You have to answer the questions that were
I don't know,
asked to you.
Neelam, you have 6
How
hours.
does it feel?
You have 6 hours.
Fabulous. I think this is
Yeah.
a fun
She's like,
thing.
huh? Okay.
Yeah, it is
good,
fun.
yeah.
But I think after watching this movie, I will get.
We're going to review the
Yeah.
film. We're going to come and watch.
I have
film
to
with
worry
me in
when
Tamil.
you guys
better be so nice.
I don't need 6 hours from you. I am here for you. See, always. I can't spend even 6 minutes away from you. Don't forget me when you're ready.
I would.
So very first you're watching the film and we will be reviewing it too.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shahid sir, I'm so sorry for what you're about to witness. बेख्याली में भी तेरा ख्याल आए क्यों
बिछड़ना.
क्यों बिछड़ना है जरूरी ये सवाल आए तेरी नजदीकियों की खुशी बेहिसाब थी किससे मैं फासले भी तेरे बेहिसाब मैं जो तुमसे दूर हूँ मैं दूर में रहूँ प्रीति
गली में मारे फेरे पास आने को मेरे गली में मारे फेरे पास आने को मेरे कभी फरकता नैन मेरे तो कभी फरकता तोर कभी फरकता नैन मेरे तो कभी फरकता तोर अंबर सरिया मुंडिया वे कचिया कलिया न तोड़ अंबर सरिया मुंडिया वे कचिया कलिया न तोड़ तेरी माँ ने बोले है मुझे तीखे से बोल तेरी माँ ने बोले है मुझे तीखे से बोल अंबर सरिया
For the first time, I started on a song pitch. Priya's like, what's wrong with you?
No, I'm not the singer. He's the professional. I'm just
You
like.
guys
She
are
has
both
a really-
singers.
She has a really great voice, but she
Yeah.
doesn't. She does like I had to get her to come out and sing for the first time.
I
Then
don't
now people
sing.
realize that she sings.
She's so good.
She's good.
Yeah?
She's
you
just,
sing well too.
Right? He's the expert. He sang in the film and rapped, and he plays the guitar, and he knows how to play the piano. So
Okay.
let's just focus on Dhruv.
What about my clapping, you guys? That was
She
what
clapped
the real
on me.
talent
That
was.
was
Thank you.
And she
Thank
sang
you.
Can you please sing Dust to Dawn for us, please? I will sing with you.
She's ready.
She's ready. Okay. Okay. Ready?
No.
Ready?
Say
Okay.
with me.
Yeah.
Wait, what's that?
Okay. Close your eyes.
I don't
I'll
know
say the
lyrics.
lyrics. I'll say the lyrics. Now, trying to be. Come on.
I'm trying to be cool. Just trying to be in this.
Yeah.
Tell me how you choose. Tell me where the wind is. Can you feel it too? All of the windows inside this room. But I wanna touch you, baby. I wanna feel you too. I wanna see the sunrise and your sins, just me and you. Light it up on the run. Let's make love tonight.